So now I have the pleasure of introducing you to Julia. I've known Julia for many years, and I met her through another friend. And Julia came through our Executives in Transition Bootcamp, and she's a finance exec, and she is a really, really good finance exec. Well, she got on the AI train and learned so much, and has been teaching people about AI for a long time now, and she's developed an expertise that's really impressive. And what is even more impressive is that she shares her knowledge with so many people, and it's very, very useful. So I'm very excited to have you here with Julia, and for Julia to share things that can help us in our everyday lives and in our professional journeys. So, Julia, I'm now turning it over to you.
Thank you, Christy. I'm going to share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Amazing. Okay. So, my name is Julia Kozlov. I'm a keynote speaker, an AI advocate, and a strategic operator. So, here's how I found my passion for AI. So, 2023, started hearing rumblings about, oh, ChatGPT, AI, it's going to revolutionize the universe. And I read something that it said it can't even pass the CPA exam. I'm like, fine, totally fine. I go to a conference in October of 2023, so 2 years and 2 months ago, and I heard a speaker explain how he used AI to analyze public data, and I was intrigued. Then I talked with a colleague who was literally tasking her team with spending about 30 minutes of every single day trying to find uses for AI. And then something clicked for me and I went all in. It's like, oh my God, this is like Excel in the 90s. This is like the internet. Oh my God. And I developed a passion for it. So who am I? So I'm a finance executive, 20 years driving growth, efficiency, clarity. Started my career at Deloitte, went to Disney with high growth healthcare, educational organizations. And then in my spare time, which sometimes I have more and sometimes I have less, I teach C-suite executives how to use AI to save time, sharpen decisions, and increase ROI. I lead workshops and I speak nationally for, I'll name a couple of them, Finance Executives International, Global AI Council, Wonder Woman in Tech, Chief, CFOLC, and I literally have one goal for today. It's to humanize AI and show you how it fits into your actual work and life simply and easily. Also, there are people on here that probably use AI every single day and not just for writing emails. And there are probably people on here that either really don't ever use AI or use it just for writing emails. So my goal is for every person on here to just learn 1%. When I read a self-help book, when I go to conferences, when I hear speaker, when I go to workshops, all I'm looking for is that 1%. Because if we can get 1% better each time, that adds up to a lot. So AI, it's your time multiplier, and what's your time worth? This presentation is really content rich. It's being recorded, but also there's a couple of areas where I have a little camera, an old-fashioned camera, not an iPhone, and I say you can take a screenshot of this. So, what is AI? We talk about prompting, which is literally just writing clear, specific instructions. Generative AI. It's Nano Banana, it's Dolly, it's ChatGPT, AI agents, which, by the way, not everything is an agent. Everyone says that everything's an agent. It's just like AI is not an easy button. AI agents are not that easy to create. Custom GPTs are pretty easy if you know what you're doing, but AI agents literally mean that they're going to go out, you're going to put out a prompt, that agent is going to go out and without any basically interference from you, go and book a trip, go do things on your behalf. It's not that easy. And even companies that are like, oh, we're going to create agents for everything. You have to have good data. You have to have solid data. Like, it's not that easy. So when you hear people talking about all these agents, I would just be slightly skeptical. Also, an API is basically it's a plugin for, and I use ChatGPT like I use Kleenex. There's other tissue brands. I just say ChatGPT. It's any AI. It's Claude, it's Perplexity, it's any of them. It's Gemini with gems. ChatGPT has custom GPTs, but APIs like right now in our company, what we're trying to do is, or I'm trying to create a custom GPT where it detects traffic patterns in the morning and the afternoon and tells and optimizes a program manager schedule to go out to different schools, and it bases it on traffic patterns. Well, we needed to add in an API. So ML, machine learning, and NLP, natural language processing. So you can use colloquialisms. You do not need to be a coder. And token is the smallest unit of language. So here's the evolution of AI. It actually started in 1959, and this is coming from The AI Driven Leader by Jeff Woods, a great book. So think of Netflix recommendations based on your viewing history. You liked Emily in Paris, you may like a couple of other shows. Deep learning, Face ID. I can open up my iPhone with my face. Generative AI really started in 2017. And large language models like Chat, Claude, Gemini, like I said, Chat just turned 3, I think, last week. It's only in 22. AGI, the computers are winning. Terminator, that's still theoretical. So why do professionals need AI? Time savings, increased accuracy, and really the early adopters of AI gain a competitive edge. And right now, everyone should be adopting it. So core principles to remember. AI is not the decision maker. You're the decision maker. It's an assistant. Your professional judgment must come first. And every output or decision that AI makes, you need to review and validate. It can help with documentation, reporting, brainstorming. I'll show a couple of examples in a little bit. But the ethical reasoning, the sniff test, your EQ, that's irreplaceable. You must review, validate, take responsibility. We've seen Deloitte and other companies, which Deloitte's my alma mater, but come under skepticism and come under fire for literally using AI, copy pasting, and sending out reports and charging for those reports. A friend of mine yesterday sent a funny message saying, "Oh my God, here was a LinkedIn post I did. Someone sent a whole response to be really smart, and then on the bottom forgot to take out the part where ChatGPT says, this response should elicit a lot of back and forth." Okay, come on. Yes, we all use AI to help us, but at least proofread. And agentic AI, when you do use the agents, must include override options and checkpoints. Also, there's bias. There's patterns in data, including biases, like when your AI wants to make you happy and gives you an answer, and then you probe it deeper and they're like, well, is that really the answer? What's the contrarian point of view? It's like, oh, you're right. That may not be the answer. It wants to please you. It really wants to please you. High impact, simple solutions. This is really what my talks are all about, because I don't know who's still in transition, who's working at a company, but when you go to your systems team and say, I want to implement this, they're on sprints through Q1 of 2026, and nobody's got time to implement what you're doing until Q4, maybe, of 2026, if not 2027. So all of these are very easy, cheap, if not free solutions, like an AI note taker or a voice memo. For example, the company I'm currently with, we do autism therapy, and so we have HIPAA issues. The note taker we use is Fathom, because Fathom is HIPAA compliant. Not all note takers are HIPAA compliant. But I don't know about you, but I still have a notebook. And it used to be when I was in a meeting, I would be taking notes, not looking at someone's face. Now with a note taker, I don't ever have to look at the notes because I can go back and look at my recording. I can see the summary that for our instance, Fathom has done. And I can also copy that whole transcript, even though Fathom has a great summary. I could copy it into our enterprise version of ChatGPT because, again, HIPAA compliance, and get my own structured outputs and my own outlines. That saves a lot of time. Also, for personal use, I had downloaded Otter. I was like, great, $20 a month. Otter's fantastic. I've now cut out the Otter because in your iPhone and all of your phones, voice memo comes free. If you have a voice memo that you record, and then once you're done recording, you go to the voice memo, click on the 3 ellipses, you can copy that whole transcript into whatever AI you're using. Most recently, the way I used it is, if you came on early, you noticed me saying that I have a huge remodel going on. When I was walking around with contractors to get bids, I had my voice memo on. So I could then take the transcript. And when they gave me a bid, I could see what did we actually talk about versus what was on that bid. And then maybe I made a mistake of what I wanted. So now I'm going through and checking. It's a great free way to use AI. Internal communications and drafting. I think that's where most people are good at using AI to write emails. And it really is great for that. My payroll manager used to write a little sharply, to be kind, started using AI, and the emails are really just balanced and kind and to the point. Policy rollout. I'll show you guys in a little bit. We were looking for a new AP vendor, decided to use AI to help me out. That's a huge savings. Automating data collection. Again, I'm in finance. When we're going to our budget season, which we just rolled out our first pass of the budget, thank goodness, we are looking to homogenize all of our expenses. For this company, we use QuickBooks. And with QuickBooks, you have a vendor that's T-Mobile, you can spell it T-Mobile, 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 one word. And so when I'm trying to homogenize all our expenses, it used to take me hours to do pivots and VLOOKUPs and concatenate and all this. I'm uploading it all into the enterprise version of ChatGPT. It knows to homogenize. It knows to take the description of amortize this vendor, take out the word amortize because I've built it into my project. It saves me hours. And again, contract analysis. For me, the best version of this was I was really trying to reduce my not my property taxes, sorry. I was trying to reduce my insurance for the house. Sorry, homeowner's insurance. That's what it is, insurance for the house. And I literally had a quote that was half of what I was currently paying. My EQ said, something not passing the sniff test. I put all of the disclosures into chat. Turned out that the new policy that was half didn't cover water damage. It's a pretty big thing to cover, so I didn't go with that. That could have really cost me a lot of money down the line if I ever had water damage. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions. Took me 2 seconds. And it sounds like Renee did the same thing. Better prompt iteration. Here's something that I will die on the hill of. Don't just say summarize. This is where I say screenshot recommended. Analyze this text like a strategy consultant. Identify key insights, missed opportunities, and strategic implications I should act on immediately. Another one. After generating a summary, check accuracy. Are the core ideas captured? Clarity. Is the wording clear and easy to read? Completeness. Are all key points included without extra fluff? And brevity. Can it be quickly scanned? Amongst others. Bonus. Can you make this existing prompt at least 10 times better right now? Do you have the capability to even do it? And is there any way it can be improved? And help me understand this step by step. Go from simple to incredibly low-level, detailed technical explanations until I understand it. Do not advance without confirming that I understand each step. Okay, tasks where AI can help. Intelligence and insight generation. So if you're going to go and interview with a company or interview a person, you can use deep research. You can use Notebook LM, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. Predictive operations, smarter budgeting, fraud alerts, content rich. I don't know if you guys have used Gamma. Now, this was not created with Gamma, but it's a great, very simple deck creation. If you've never used it, take a look at it. It'll blow your mind. And it's free for the first, I think, 10 to 15 slides. So you can take all of your data, put it into Gamma, and it'll create a deck for you that is really excellent. And really agentic AI. It's multi-step workflows, research, draft, format, and it's personal assistance, but it's not easy. Okay, live demos. So I'm going to get out of this. Can you guys still see my screen? Okay. Oh, good to know. John said 10 slides, but you can add more after the first 10. You can also do multiple decks and put them together. Where there's a will of not paying money, there is a way of not paying money. So here's some examples. We were looking for a new AP vendor, right? So I was deciding between Ramp, Brex, and our banking invoice manager. So I went and added in some data. I added in the PDF that Brex sent us. I added in the pricing that Brex gave us. I prompted some more, and then I added in my recording, my Fathom recording of our meeting. So then I said, okay, now give me pros and cons. And then I added what PNC gave us. And then I asked again for pros and cons. And then I had polled the audience. I belong to CFO Leadership Council. So I sent an email to everyone and they gave me what they thought about these solutions and if they'd implemented any. I also said, hey, also we use QBO. Does that change? And then I said, give me everything. I want you to search the interwebs and let me know if anyone hates any of these solutions for any reasons. So as you see, I didn't just copy paste. I iterated and I talked to my assistant. So then on and on and on. And then I asked for an executive memo. And then I read it and I iterated on and on. But as you see, it wasn't just a copy paste. I was using this as my personal assistant. So next, I'm really, really good at Excel. I'm typically one of the best 1 to 2 people at any company. And I just say this with no hubris. It just is what it is with Excel, because to me, it is my tool. Just like I'm passionate about AI and it is my additional tool. You're only as good as your tools in your toolkit, your EQ, your IQ, your technical quotient, your AQ, which is your adversity quotient, and the team that you have. Like, it's not that hard. So I was looking to break out in a column at all of these different things. I was looking for LAUSD, and then I was looking for Easter seals. But if you look, like, even though I know what search is, I know what is number is, this is not an easy formula, and it would probably take an hour or two. It took like 4 iterations to come up with the formula that I want. Deep research. Has anyone used deep research, or do people use deep research? You can put it in the comments. So I will get some clout here. So my best friend is the founder of Menchie's Frozen Yogurt, if anyone has ever heard of it. And so we were at a conference and she was like, hey, Julia, I just don't remember when the first Menchie store franchised. So, hey, it was franchised in 2008. And then I said, when did the first Menchie start in each state? And we used deep research. Here are all of the sources that it used, deep research used, including some agency and franchising.com, Menchie, like it literally used 32 sources and it took 12 minutes. And it gave me the first store opening by state. And then I asked for opening date. And then I said, give me the specific dates. And literally, it gave me this. And this was, by the way, I did this maybe 6 months ago. So now, or 8 months ago, I would probably have some better prompt iteration because I've learned more. But even something like this that would have taken weeks, it would have taken McKinsey, it would have taken plowing through all of the papers in the corporate offices. So this is something that's easy. So one other thing I'm going to show, Notebook LM. Notebook LM, about 2 years. Deep research, yes. So deep research is not actually a prompt. You can say, tell me about PRG. And then you can actually use its deep research. You just click down. And if you say deep research, and the nice thing here, I'll just do this really quickly, is it'll ask me questions. What do you mean by PRG? So it won't just go, like, it'll actually ask you questions, which is nice. Okay. So Notebook LM. Things get better all the time. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, but ChatGPT, finally, you can put in a setting where it does not use M dashes and it actually listens and won't use M dashes. A year or two ago, you could not, if you asked ChatGPT how many R's in strawberries, it would say 2 instead of 3. So the AI is getting smarter all the time. So are AI tools. I looked at Notebook LM about a year and a half ago and I was like, don't need it, don't like it. I looked at it a month ago, game changer. So here's something fun that it did. I used Christy Haley Stover as my example. I said, okay, tell me about Christy. And I put in I believe this was a talk that Christy gave. It gave a couple of other, I put in Platinum Resource Group. It came up with Laguna Niguel connectors. Now, it doesn't always come up with the right things. Like somehow there's a Christy Haler in conservative talk radio. And, right? So, but I said, don't look at, so what I said was, hey, once again, like you have to review. So I said, somewhere here, I said, do not use anything political. And so not only did it give me detailed work around Christie, I also then did a video overview. And I don't think you guys can hear the audio, but can you guys hear the audio? Okay. So, but it created a whole video
How funny.
about,
I created a presentation called The Art of Networking like years ago. I mean, we're talking 2008, 2009.
it found it. It found it. So when you're going to talk to someone, Notebook LM to me is a game changer. Like if you're going for a networking lunch or something. And by the way, if any of you have college age kids, so many of them are using it for understanding. You can even do slide decks. Now it's gonna take a little time to create it, but that's what all of these kids, like my daughter's like, oh yeah, I used Notebook LM all through college. I put in the lecture that the professor gave because they're all online now, and it created slides and quizzes and flashcards. What I did I did a presentation for FEI, and I went deep into like custom GPTs and creating budgets last week, and we have USC ambassadors. And then I asked the USC ambassadors in the room, I'm like, do you use Notebook LM? And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, how do you use it? They're like, exactly how you just did. And it's free. So yes, you can give it a YouTube link as well. So these are the things that to me are free or almost free. And it's different, right? I also created a custom GPT. And then I'm not going to go into Google's AI Studio, which you would know colloquially as Nano Banana. Actually, I can go into it. Hold, please. I go in. So here, it's called Fast Forward. You put in a picture. This is something fun. and I won't show it right. So you put in a picture and then it tells you yourself through the decades. Just for time's sake, I actually did that. And so I put in a picture that I took with me with my cell phone, with my iPhone, and then it showed me in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and in the 2000s of what it would look like. Yes, this is not what we're going to use in business, but it is kind of fun. Okay, how do I start? I typically have a sticky note, which fell off in the move, but I need to add it back, saying, how can AI help me do this task more efficiently? Ask me questions about my repetitive tasks and show me potential solutions. And start with one or two potential tasks. It's not going to do everything for you today. Start with one task. Start with two tasks. Experiment with better prompting. I have 2 slides on this. I started Deloitte as an auditor. Always, always prompt AI to cite its sources. Like if any of you are in finance or accounting, you know that there's different FASBs, that there's different pronouncements that come out all the time. And I'm sure there is in the HR world, marketing and everything. There's always new pronouncements that are coming out. So if AI is going out into the interwebs and coming back with a source, how do you know it's not the source from a year ago? So always ask to cite its sources. Also, don't defer your judgment to AI. This is right now, this is the humanity. Go out, talk to people, see what everyone else is saying, and make sure that things are passing the sniff test and cross-reference. Okay, also, now you have, if you ask still AI to show me a clock face, 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100, it'll show you 10 and 2. Why? Because throughout the history of the interwebs, somehow people they thought it'd be easier to just have a clock face with 10 and 2, and it's done in washes and other things. And so it's biased. And even if you ask it to do 12, 15, it'll come up with 10 and 2. Warnings, potential breaches of labor laws, cite sources, validate references, ensure compliance, hands on the steering wheel, exactly. Make sure that you have a governance committee when you have AI in the workforce, and make sure that everyone signs, because everyone's using AI, right? But make sure we know what to put in. Do not put in any HIPAA violation data that could violate HIPAA. So make sure you're using it responsibly. Also, inputs may be stored or analyzed, risking confidential information like payroll. If you're doing this at work, make sure you're on the enterprise version of GPT. And also use AI with non-sensitive data. Like my personal ChatGPT, I have a work and a personal one. My personal one, I'm not going to put in my social security number. However, there's lots of people that are on YouTube that say you're going to put in your social security number. People already have it. Also, no one is going to be combing through, and it's going to be really hard to find your social security number. I still won't do it. I don't know. It's like I always put on my seatbelt. There's just certain things that I don't want to risk. Okay. My takeaways. Experiment with an AI tool. Prepare a simple presentation using tools such as Gamma. So let's click on Gamma. So let's go to, I actually have Gamma just because I've started using it a little bit. I don't do my decks in it, but sometimes I'll take the pictures from Gamma and I'll put it into my decks. So this is something that someone asked about prompts. I use something called Rise that I came up with. Basically, it's the role, the input, steps, how it should think, and the end product. Now, I didn't use this deck for something, I used pieces of it, but this is one of my more advanced presentations that I do, where literally you talk about who the AI becomes, everything it needs, how it should think, and the end product. So, okay. Share your experiences with everyone. Everyone's somehow using AI. I have a friend who's an interior designer, and about a year and a half ago, when I really started getting into, or 2 years ago, when I started really getting into AI, I told her, hey, do not have your assistant come with you to meetings and take notes. Your assistant can be working on plans and redesign. Have a note taker. That way you can send it off to your client. You guys can both look at every single discussion point and every single interior design point that you have. Send it to them. Make sure they sign off on it. You have less change orders. Both of you are in sync with what needs to be done, and you can scale your business. And she has actually done just that. I also know a lot of people who are divorced and use parenting. It's not called Parenting Wizard, it's called something else, but it's a way to communicate with your ex where it's like, okay, the least egregious way of writing things. Journal analysis. Actually, last night, yes, I'm very pragmatic, I'm very numbers oriented, but I'm a little bit woo woo. And it was, okay, it's the highest moon point, full moon point that you're going to have for the next 20 years. And I said, okay, chat, help me create a manifestation for today. And I did some iteration. And last night I went and did a manifestation. We're using it in our personal lives, we're using it in our professional lives. Also, when I read books, like I love Mustafa Suleiman's The Coming Wave, which is amazing. Every time I went through a couple chapters and, I annotated in the book because, yes, I still read when it's good books like that that are self-help or just are really interesting. I'll annotate within a book. I took those annotations, put them in the chat. It created a summary for me, which was amazing. Also, what I really, really love is AI newsletters. My favorite is the Neuron Daily. It takes a minute to read, and it is every single day what I go to, and I don't gatekeep that. It is, to me, how I stay abreast of what is going on in the AI world, and it's very quick and easy. You can also take a course. So, final reminder, human leadership in the age of AI, it's all about how we stay human in the middle of all that change. Your judgment, your empathy, your professionalism, they're what make you unique. AI can help, but only when guided by responsible humans. And then this is part of my TED Talk. It's IQ, human intelligence, EQ, emotional intelligence, TQ, technical and AI intelligence. And the one that most people don't ever think about is AQ, your adversity quotient. Like, even though there's a plan A, do you have a plan B? Do you have a plan D? Do you have a plan Z? Because when we lead with these, we don't compete with AI, we rise above it. I also made a little song using Suno, but if you couldn't hear the video for Christie's, you're not really going to be able to hear this. So I'm not going to do it. I'll send it to Christy. Maybe Christy can send it out. Oh, I don't think anybody can hear that. Okay. And then let's connect. So I keynote speak, I do workshops, I speak on different panels. If anybody's from the San Fernando Valley, I just was on a panel for the Valley Economic Alliance on helping small businesses. Here's my LinkedIn. You have my email and my cell phone. So, and I do this because I think AI shouldn't be really difficult, and it shouldn't be, oh my God, we have to create agents for everything. There's free and cheap ways to integrate AI into your life, both professionally and personally. And it doesn't have to be difficult. I think that's part of my superpower. I make things really digestible in small bites that's not overwhelming. So thank you.
All right, I'm sure we have questions. And so Julie, it's really interesting. It's like I'm thinking about all the things that I could use it for personally and then, professionally. But I really want to know, there's a lot of finance people on the call. And how are you seeing finance as a profession? adapting this? Because and I have a hypothesis or potentially I finance people are really struggling in transition right now. We know that. We know that there's more finance people that, have come through boot camp than in many years. And it's interesting. And so, what I do as I, look at the trends is like, okay, what's happening? And I'm wondering if part of it has to do with companies are really struggling to understand what AI can do for them when it comes to the financials. And maybe candidates aren't able to articulate how they're adopting AI. What do you think?
So I have a couple of different thoughts on it. And part of it is what we used to value was, oh my God, this person knows gap off the top of their head, off the top of their head. Oh my God, this person is such an amazing doer and they know all of the technical things. Well, AI is taking over a lot of the technical things. So it used to be if I put my head down and I did Excel spreadsheets and I did budgets and I did it all really, really well, that's what was valued. We now have to be more strategic. We have to go out and we have to foster relationships. So many people are in startups right now, right? Most companies right now that are hiring are startup companies that are looking for unicorns and are looking for people that are have investor relations background. They have that have taken a company private, that have taken a company public. Well, most of that isn't just the work, right? It's making sure you have banking relationships. It's making sure that you know who to go to for things. Yes, well, maybe I haven't taken a company public, but I have all of these relationships with McKinsey, with Blackstone, with BlackRock, with all of these. I have relationships with an amazing bank. Like in the last couple of years, we changed our banking, and it was I had a relationship with someone I had met at a luncheon, who pitched me and came up with better pricing, better line of credits, no owner guarantor. It's these strategic movements that are now being looked at for finance professionals. It's finance professionals that aren't just, and I will take this from Jack McCullough of CFOC, it's not the office of CF no. And that's really what, like, the old fashioned, oh well, we're going to just, be on the straight and narrow. People are looking to invest in AI. People are looking to invest, are looking to review their tech stack. They're looking to review their people stack. So I think it's that humanity that before wasn't as valued that is really being valued now. I don't know if that really answered your question.
Well, it kind of does, and it does make sense. And I'm being asked now, people ask me to speak and on various topics, and usually it's mindset during job search or whatever. But right now, I'm being asked to talk a lot about relationships, developing relationships again. And that was, what people were asking me to do in 2008, 2009. And so it's really interesting, but I think you're spot on, Julia. I really do. And as it comes to mind, and John has his hand raised, and I'll include John in this. Previously, I think CFOs would just objectively, really look at the numbers when they're looking at, the technology investment. But anymore, they're being asked, to approve things that they really have no idea about. And so, John, are you seeing that as well? Because I would imagine, I mean, I know I was in IT and you always have to get things past, the finance group. But if the finance group isn't aware of this technology, if they don't really understand it, then how is that going to go? So go
And it is
ahead,
an
John, you have the
investment.
floor.
It's
Yes.
absolutely an investment.
Yeah, I'm happy to comment on that. I think the biggest problem we see with a lot of AI initiatives today is they're being thought of as a technology problem to solve, and they're not. right? They're a business leadership opportunity
Yeah.
that when you think about presenting this to your board, to your executives, to the CFO, it should be in business terms. What business problem are you trying to solve? What are the pain points? How are you creating value? AI is not, magic sauce that you sprinkle on your organization and you get ROI. And there's lots of stories about how companies are failing because they don't have a roadmap, they don't have governance, they don't have a responsible use, and
Or
they're
clean
just
data. Or clean data. You could have all of those things, and without clean data, you're going to get garbage out. Hi.
there's a quote that I took from another person that said that it's a 10-20-70 rule. 10% is technology, 20% is data, 70% is people, process, and governance.
That's really interesting, and
Yep.
I think that that's changed dramatically. Don't you think, John?
I think this is similar to other technologies we've seen come through our, years of technology evolution. We had the same problem with ERP, the same problem with CRM, the same problem with all the rest of them. Why is it all of a sudden AI? We're going to throw all that out and just rush right into, I've got a hammer, it's called AI. Let's see how we can figure it out. The difference is that the bar to enter this technology is so low that every department can go out there and start using AI today. And if they don't have the governance, they don't have the responsible use. I'll pick up on what Julia said. She uses ChatGPT Enterprise. If you're not that big, you can use ChatGPT Business, but you cannot use the one that's the plus or the free version because any data you put out there is going to be exposed.
And right now, Enterprise is not HIPAA compliant. They are saying it will be HIPAA compliant in
Yeah.
2026. But also, when you're coming up with the governance document, you need to make sure it involves data that is not, or changes that have not happened yet, and review that on a quarterly basis.
Yeah. And I like to think of calling it not governance, but responsible use, because governance sounds like roadblocks. Responsible use is the enabler that helps to free up your employees, free up your company to be able to leverage and take advantage of AI. But it gives you the guardrails that says,
Yeah.
look, you need to be responsible for your own content. Don't upload company information. You need to check all of this before you do it. It's your thought partner. It's not your thought replacer.
Yeah. John, you've
John,
been
can
asked to
you?
repeat. Yeah, you've
Yeah,
been asked to repeat those, the 10, 20,
the
70.
10, 20, 70.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. 10% of the solution is technical, right? Which tool you're going to use. 20% is data because AI lives on the data you give it and the data that's pulling from. And then 70% is people, process, governance. It's all the leadership. It's all the things that are not technology. You
And
should
the
be
things
starting.
that can't be replaced by AI.
No. And the
So,
news that's talking about all the jobs that are being replaced is highly overhyped. When you dig into it, most of the companies that are saying this are public companies because it's a perception they're putting out there. It's also a lot of positions that are being removed that are positions they were going to fill. And if you also look at their normal, loss of jobs throughout the year, it's less than that, or they overhired.
mm,
And you're going to be hiring other jobs.
Yes.
Also, those companies that say, okay, we got rid of 80%, if you notice, they'll start adding people back because you need the humanity. You need
Yeah.
people to pass the sniff
You
test.
cannot
You
remove
need
the
to,
human from the loop.
yeah, and you need to know that at some point the AI is going to hit a roadblock, and you need, again, the AQ, the adversity quotient, to go, okay, well, let's try to come at it from another angle.
Well,
This
you're
is the
also
one.
seeing some pushback in organizations that have done things like, I'm going to replace most of my customer service people with AI. Now they're hiring them back because their customers are not happy.
Yeah. That is true. So also there are companies that chart out there that are charging exorbitant amount of money to come up with, hey, let's look at your AI readiness. Okay, they're going to go and charge you this, and then they're going to come back and say, your data is not clean. Your organization hasn't put these things into place, so we're not going
Mhm.
to do it. Someone said, I believe there was a comment that asked me to talk about um, okay, a couple of things. Someone said, oh, what are your thoughts on AI strategies for companies? There's a lot of specific tax functions where you can get immediate benefit. Yes, but there's no easy button. So make sure that your data is clean. If you want it for customer service, so I actually did an internal um, training for our customer service folks at our company, where if someone's, so once again, we do autism therapy. And so you're going to have parents calling in and being upset about either insurance or about a clinician not showing up or about something that happened. And really where the customer service agent's going, okay, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry, sir. Now, if they have AI up, okay, well, how about this? How about it? Really is an assistant. So for customer service, you can do that. For finance, I use, so on a monthly basis, we're downloading our revenue um, piecemeal, and then we're uploading it into QuickBooks. I've created a project. It's not even a custom GPT, just a project where I'm literally just layering on, layering on, layering on, and then uploading, and it's creating one homogenized worksheet that has the first column being the month, the second column being the territory, and then the rest of it is the data. And so now it's homogenized. It pivots very quickly. It downloads. And so it takes something that used to take me 5 hours. Now it takes me 1 hour, 4 hours of my day to be saved once a month. That's a huge savings to me. And it's not something that I had to have our IT department put into a sprint. So it's take those, what can IT help me do better and more efficiently? I've also been looking at companies to help analyze and do our cash flow. And almost all the companies that go out and pitch me, and they're like, we can do an amazing report for you on AR aging. I'm like, I can do that same report in QuickBooks. It's easy. Like, so there's a couple of companies out there that are doing really well, and I may implement one of them. But let's start thinking about, like, nobody's created the easy button yet.
You're
We just have to do
absolutely
that on
right.
our own.
Yeah. Well, and to, someone's point earlier, I mean, you have to think more strategically about it, because ChatGPT creates fragmented solutions, no different than when people were, creating their own spreadsheets to make business decisions. There's issues with it, and, you have to do data checks and all of that. It's far bigger than just using ChatGPT for this and that. And you're right, John, I think you said there are companies that are failing because they're not really, planning it or being strategic about it.
Someone
Well, and part
asked,
of it too is setting your culture up to really embrace and engage with AI, right? If you don't have those guardrails, if you haven't helped to educate and communicate with your teams, 75% of your employees are using AI right now, whether you know it or not.
yep,
50% of those are hiding it from their employer, not because they're trying to be deceptive, because they're fearful. And you know what fear and uncertainty does to a culture? It just stifles creativity. It stifles innovation. And AI is a tool that can really be leveraged for good, but you have to know how to use it.
yep. And by the way, this conversation we're having right now, there are people that are going to know more about AI than I do, and about different parts of AI. Like John is amazing. I'm not like, oh my God, John knows more. We should all be talking to each other because we're all learning
Sure.
from each
Yeah.
other.
And
Everyone's
I
an
want to pick up
expert
on
and
one
no
thing you
one's an
said earlier.
expert.
I want to pick up on one reference you made earlier, one of my favorite books. It's right here in my window. You probably can't see it, but it's small. But The AI Driven Leader by Jeff
Yes.
Woods.
Yep.
It's a phenomenal book. It's
Yep.
not a technical book. It's a leadership book. It helps you understand and do a framework. So if you're going to read one book, I would highly recommend that one.
Hey, someone
If
put that
you
in the
So,
chat for everyone, by the way.
if
Yeah,
you haven't, John, if you haven't read The Coming Wave by Mustafa Suleiman, it
I
will blow
have
your
that.
mind.
I
You
have that
have
on
it?
I have that on my list.
Put it to the top.
Christy, sorry, it's Alberto. Christy, at the end of the day, ChatGPT is another system. People
Yeah,
believe that ChatGPT is a human that can do everything for you. It's not. It's a system like any ERP system.
it's a
If, like
tool.
John and Julia has said, if it's not governance around, and it's for any system, it's not just ChatGPT, for any system out there, if it's not governance, companies are going to fail.
100%.
Guys, a lot of people is using the example of data. The analytical tools, the systems that are for analytics, if they don't receive good data, they're going to give you garbage. So
Yep.
it's not just Chat GPT. is every system out there, if they don't have good data, you are not going to have good outputs. So the famous garbage in, garbage out, this is applicable for any system, and ChatGPT is not the exception. It's just like John was saying, this is a new technology. This is the hype. Everybody's excited. Some people are using it, according to what Julia says. They are analyzing in their space how to use ChatGPT, and they have been successful. Other people is just, I can have an email. I can, and they believe that resolve a problem in a company. You need to have what Jenny is saying, process, people, and system or processes in order to be able to do all that. So the hype is just a hype. The persons that are going to take the time to put the governance, to put the processes, and to understand how to use it is the one that is going to be successful at the end.
Thank you. Dave Barry, by the way, Dave Barry came through boot camp years and years and years ago. Dave, it's good to see you. His question is, why are people fearful about letting others know about their use of AI?
Because there's still a stigma of, oh, did you use ChatGPT to write that post? Oh, did you use ChatGPT, to do that analysis? Yes, and I'm no longer using an abacus either. I use Excel. Like, there's still this random, like, why wouldn't I use every tool in my toolkit, especially ones that make things quicker and easier for me? I'm a finance executive. I don't have time to mess around. Why wouldn't I use the best tools I have access to?
Yep.
Good point.
Is it also possible that many people are unsure of how to use the tools effectively, and therefore they're insecure about sharing it with other people?
They're afraid of making mistakes, 100%.
Yeah.
They're afraid of doing something wrong or getting caught.
Yeah.
Even though they know that it can make their work, more productive, get you more capacity, more capability. But if there's no clear guidelines in terms of what you can and cannot use, you're just using it quietly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much to that, and we could go on and on. Pam, the book that Julia mentioned was The Coming Wave. I didn't catch the author, but
Mustafa Suleiman. I just put it in the chat, as did Elena.
Oh, okay. Great. Oh, thank you. There you go. Well, we are out of time, and this is a fascinating discussion, and we're going to have more of these in various, covering various topics. But Julie, you just really opened up, something for people, I think, and you're making AI more approachable as well, which, I think is really beneficial for everyone. So we have next week, oops, and I'm not seeing my calendar. Okay, so next week we have a speaker. Oh, and it's an executive recruiter. So Rick Clody, who I know well, is he's an executive recruiter, and he's going to be talking about you as a candidate, and the first sale is between your ears. So he's got a lot of great information. So I hope that you join us next week and hear some great pearls from Rick. He's just a fabulous person, and a really, really solid executive recruiter. And so hopefully you'll be back with us. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, Julia. You are just such a wealth of knowledge, and I can't wait to see what you add on to this in the coming weeks and months. It's constantly evolving, right? Your knowledge is growing like daily, I bet.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much. And we know that you'll come back again because you're part of us and part of our community. And John, thanks for your contributions, and everyone else. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. See you next week, hopefully. And don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any thoughts on different speakers, etc. And it's always a pleasure to be in community with you all. And take care, be safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.